so we're just going to give you a quick look into what a regular report looks like at Hook Agency. So typically we kick it off and we just like to have a very candid conversation about how the last month has been going. We're going to talk casually at first about leads, how lead flow has been, lead quality. We're going to talk about performance and just anything interesting that's been going on in your world. Maybe you got hit by a storm. Maybe things are feeling a little bit slow or you're slammed. That's all valuable information for us to have. So after the first couple of minutes, really what we do is we're just going to transition into a very structured report at first. One thing to note is we really like to kind of keep these reports with a very clear path, but we can kind of diverge as we need to based upon your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you get a good look into what we're actually going to be able to see here. While we have a structure, we want to cater this to your needs. So I always say this, I'm going to hit top level metrics. If you have questions, ask for further detail and I'll go ahead and dive further in on those details. So what you're looking at here is just our standard report, a standard SEO dashboard. And we always kick off the beginning of the conversation with organic leads. Now, this really becomes more relevant after about 9 months of doing SEO, especially after you get through the first 2 months of onboarding. That's kind of when we transition into more of this usual dashboard report. But we kick it off with organic leads, and we like to talk about, hey, how many first-time phone calls and first-time form submissions did you get from search engines in the last month? As you can see here, this client's doing particularly well. We like to tie it back to a percentage increase. That's how we benchmark our progress, and really the way that we gauge success in our relationships. That kind of naturally translates into organic traffic. Again, once we're talking about leads, organic traffic is somewhat of a glamour metric, but it does indicate general site health. So there's a lot of other metrics that are in here. We don't always hit on every single one of these because, to be honest, beyond leads and core organic traffic and keyword increase, they're just indicators of general site health. But really the meat and potatoes of all of this is the organic prospects that we list out down here. It's just name, address, phone number of people who got in touch with you. But after covering the SEO metrics, it's like percentage increases and whatnot, we really pivot over into talking about deliverables, the work that's being done on your website every single month to ultimately get these results. So initially, after onboarding, it's a lot of local directory listings, getting links from local businesses, building out a content calendar, and writing blog content that's really catered specifically for you to get you ranking on Google for the search terms that are going to make you money, namely like roofing in or whatever your primary service is in whatever city that you're providing it. So roofing contractor in Minneapolis, etc. Yep. So as you can see here, this is really what we've got going on. So this is just an example of some of the blog content. How much does spray foam insulation cost? How much does a metal roof cost in 2022? 2 1,500-word posts for this client this month. We earned a guest post from Texas Patio Builder back to their Pergola Ideas blog post, just helping build site authority, and then also some on-page optimization, just detailing out very specific changes that we're making to the client site on a given month. And all of this just lives inside of a Drive folder, so you can go back and view the deliverables from any given month all the way back to whenever it is that you kicked off. So we're a deliverables focused company. That's what an SEO report looks like at Hook Agency.
So if you're also doing Google Ads with us, you would get to meet with another strategist, a PPC strategist, and we would walk you through a report as well. A lot of what the lead SEO Cody was mentioning, we're talking and focusing on conversions and leads, even more so because we want to know that you're getting a good ROI on Google Ads. We want to talk a lot about the leads. How much money did you make this last month from these leads so that we can make sure, again, that you're getting a positive ROI on your Google Ads spend. So I'll share my screen here as well, and we'll look at what a Google Ads report will look like. So right here, we can see that we do our reporting actually directly within Google Ads. So we're pulling data right from our account. We have a little dashboard tool within Google Ads that will allow us to pull, again, data directly from this. And we're going to go through a few different things. So we're going to look at an account overview. We can see that at the top here, where it's going to go across all of our campaigns. We're going to just get top level metrics on how much money are we spending, how much traffic have we gotten, how many clicks have we received, impressions, so on and so forth. We're going to talk, like they mentioned in SEO, we're going to talk about these numbers as and refer to them somewhat as glamour metrics because they are important, they are health gauges. But the thing that we care about the most, especially on the paid ad side, is the quality and the quantity of leads. So as we can see here, we've got some of those metrics I mentioned. Because we have such an emphasis on leads, we may even pull out some of the names that of the people that have filled out forms and made in calls. And we might talk you through, hey, how did Sarah Stolzman turn out? Did she turn into a signed deal or did it not work? And we want to know why. So, for example, if we found that Sarah Stolzman didn't close, and I would talk to you and say, "Oh, what was the conversation with Sarah like?" And you would tell me, "Well, she was a window shopper. She ghosted me after the first form submission, or she was actually looking for a different roofing company, or something along those lines." That'll inform my strategy. Hey, maybe I need to go look at the keywords, look at the search terms, add in negative keywords. Basically, any insight I get from my clients, I can take that and optimize the account with that. So as we go further into the report, we're going to kind of dive deeper into, we looked at overall metrics at the top, and then we're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper into each campaign. We're going to look at some of those similar metrics, how each campaign is individually performing. We'll discuss, again, phone calls that came from the branded campaign versus your repair campaign versus your gutters, etc. So then we'll kind of drill down a little bit, and then we'll get into keyword performance. We'll take a look at what are the top money-making keywords that we have in your account. We'll identify and talk through any issues that you've had with a flow of phone calls that you're getting consistently about one thing that you don't want to get phone calls for. If that's ever an issue, we'll talk through those, identify the source of that, and eliminate it so that we're spending money on good things in the future. As we continue down, we'll talk a little bit about competition. We'll see how we're doing as an advertiser compared to the other people spending money in your market on similar terms. And so we'll look at different metrics like our impression share, or basically our market share, how frequently our ads are showing at the top of the page. We can see this client is doing particularly well. They're showing up more than anyone else in the market, and they're showing up at the top of the page 80% of the time. Those are some really good metrics that we'll talk through. Again, not the end all be all, but they're good health gauges for knowing that leads will follow if certain checks are in place. One of the last things that we'll go through is we'll take a look at a location report. So we'll see, where are we getting traffic? Is it in our proper areas? Are we targeting our serviced areas? Are there areas that we need to remove or increase bidding in? Things like that, because of course, drive time and quality of leads can vary depending on different spots within your service area. So we want to talk about those things. The last thing we'll do, we'll take a further dive into your leads. So we'll use our tool CallRail, and we can actually listen to all the recorded calls if we want to. So I like to take a look at these calls beforehand and get a little bit of a summary and find out even more names that, hey, I listened to this call. It sounded like they scheduled an appointment. How did that appointment go? And we'll talk about those things. The very last thing that we'll do is we'll do a check on your PPC Protect account, which is our click fraud software. So we're basically getting a health gauge on how much of our traffic is valid traffic, making sure, in a nutshell, that we're spending our money appropriately. So we can see for this specific client, 1% of their traffic is very legitimate, healthy traffic, and less than a total of 3% is coming from either suspicious or invalid sources. This is a super good example of a really healthy account. Click fraud happens. The worst thing we can do is bury our head in the sand and pretend like it doesn't. So we use this software to protect our clients from click fraud continuing to happen and wasting ad spend. After that, again, we're just going to kind of wrap up on talking about the quality of leads and focus on any emphases for the next 30 days. Is there a new campaign that we want to go after? Is there a new service? How's our budget looking? And more than anything, we just want our reports to be extremely transparent. And if there's areas for improvement, we at Hook Agency are going to tell you, hey, here's some areas for improvement, and this is what we're going to do the next 30 days. And on the other side, when things are going really well, you'll see myself or other strategists on the call hooting and hollering with you and celebrating the leads and the success that we've gotten. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Vinny. I would be stoked to get the chance to talk to you in the future.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this. My name's Cody. I'm the lead SEO specialist at Hook Agency, and I would love the opportunity to have a conversation with you and answer any questions that you may have. But until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day.